Oh, it's time for full contact karate and coffee. Oh, that was strong. That was strong. Just like me, but okay. Hope you have a good summer. Here in Norway, the summer isn't really there. You have a lot of rain, but we managed to have a great summer camp a little while ago. Probably should told you a little bit about that as well with Valery Dimitrov Shihan and Nikolai Jun Jensen from Denmark. Those two guys are unbelievable good instructors. Yeah, maybe I come back with that one. I will talk this time. I will talk about the champion of the champion tournament coming up. So if you like something about I'm talking about, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up, comment comments, do whatever you want to do. As always, I'm free-minded. I just talk about things because I believe it's interesting to talk about or full contact karate, and it's not what I say that it's the way. No way. So I'm just talking about what I believe is interesting. So well, okay, we will cut to the tournament. 8-person brackets, and this is very cool how this is building up from old days. Some of you will recognize this. We had a Super 8 from the K1, and we could see the fight card many months before the fight, and of course it creates a lot of attention. So it's a very cool thing how you can build up a tournament, and I think if you see the European perspective as well, we have talked about it. Something like this would be a good tool instead of 1 billion World Championship or European Championship. This is another thing. This is a cool thing. And in this case, we have European fighters from the European region, Kazakhstan from the Asian region, and Japan fighters. And as I said before in previous videos, we are not used to see European fighting Japanese fighters. If not, it is a World Championship. We're used to see European fighting Europeans, Japanese fighting Japanese, and yeah, you get my thoughts. So this is really cool to see how they will go up against each other, and every fight is a final because this is a very high level. A top fighter, all of them. So I will focus on the men's division this time. And we have 8 fighters, as I said, 4 in each side, of course. And the first fight with reigning world champion, actually. I was starting to say European champion, but he's a world champion, of course, Even Dasgudauskas from Lithuania. Incredible, strong fighter. Interesting enough, he didn't work so good in the World Championship last year, but he came back in the European Championship now in May, and I think it was a little bit. I'm here to prove. You can see I'm back in business again, and of course I think some of the European fighters in the tournament maybe was not on the top, in the top shape. I think maybe they have a little more to gain thinking of this tournament. Actually, I have a feeling of that they maybe not was as sharp as they could be, but they are making the European tournament like a stepping stone and going further into this champion of the champions. Just a theory, of course. I don't have some proof of this, but I feel that is quite logic as well. And Eventas is going up against a young guy from Kazakhstan. He's also a world champion from Kyokushin World Union, uh, and he did a good world championship. Um, Very movable, very slick. Kinserski, Andrei Kinserski, is he's an orthodox fighter, so it's not easy to predict what he's going to do. But if you see him fighting, he's really movable, and he's very good at creating angles. It's hard to get hold of him. Unfortunately, I'm see him fight a lot of Japanese fighters. They have that's not the same height as him, and we get a typical the lower fighters glue himself to the other one, and you can't do any kind of techniques. Everything is just it going on. It will be warnings. Well, typical. We can't see how they will punch and kick actually because the distance is too close. But when you see him, so the last world championship, I think he lost to warnings actually. I'm not sure, but anyway, if you see the fights, the previous fights a little earlier in the world championship, still up against good competition, you can see a little bit more what what he can do. He has a really good front leg. The left leg is really good. He's kicking the high kick, and I think I've seen him also doing this in the introduction videos. But if you see him fight, look at he's kicking him from the dead leg, like the feet are not shuffling. They're not shuffling or moving. He's punching or he's just lifting the left leg up, bam, to the head, and that's a good kick. I see many kicking in the front leg. They are doing a little bit of shifting with the legs and giving it away, and so he doesn't announce the fight, the kick. He just come up, and that's a very good thing when it's a left leg as well, and he will have the head or guts game, the liver of the head game. So that's a good thing, and he also kicks his right low kick are very good. Of course, everybody at this level have a good low kick, but the timing of the kick is really good. He's very movable, and when people are coming towards him, he will tag them with a low kick when they're moving in. So he creates a very good damage on the leg with the low kick. The timing is really good, and of course when you have the both legs are working in a different height, different targets. It's something to disturb your opponent with, of course. He also have good knees, and he can mix it up. So, but against Eventas, everything have to be good. Eventas is really strong. I believe that Eventas, if they're going up against each other, like Eventas will be the strongest one. I think so. But Andrei is very slick to move. So it'd be interesting to see how Eventas will, if hunting him down. I have a feeling that will be more the logic picture, that Eventas is hunting a little bit, and Andrei is moving a lot around, and maybe a little bit stick and move. But if Eventas also is going in with his low kicks and hurt the leg of his opponent, maybe the movement will stop, or they don't be so good. So maybe we can have a game plan like that. I don't know. But the Eventas have to be careful. I think the longer the fight goes, it will be tougher and tougher for Kinserski. I think that Eventas is really strong, and I'm not sure that Kinshasa can hold the last 30 seconds against the shootout that we are used to see Aventas does, like he did now in the European Championship. So I'm really interested to see that fight. Maybe I'm leaning a little bit towards Gudauskas, but I think also Kinseski can take the fight with some good techniques. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But the winner will meet the winner of the next fight against Mashin Masur and Daisuke Tada from Bukren Kaikan. He did win the All Japan Open now in May, and interesting enough, these two guys are very very similar. If you see in their fight, they are stalking their opponent down. They are very calm. They're not using more energy than they have to, and the damage are very good. Both of them have very strong low kicks. They tear their opponent down. Very good opponents. They have fought and they have tear them down with the low kicks, and of course when your legs are dead, you are more like a sitting duck. When they are unleashed, the knees and the punches as well. But both of them are, I've seen both of them are hunting the opponent down and punish them. But when both have the same game, for me it's two things. If I see the same game, will I be confident enough to, well, my game is the better, so I will do my game. I know my game is better. We have the same game, but mine is better anyway. Or will I try to change a little bit and surprise my opponent, because they are, for sure also know what the other one are like to do. So so I think if you're able to mix this a little bit up, but keeping the strongest side of your fighting skills, but mix it a little bit up. I can feel that if Masur is using his reach and coming in, and also is adding the knees, it will be a tougher task for Daisuke Tada to solve. I feel that. If they are going up against each other and almost punching and looking, that's the game. It's a little bit more difficult to see how this will end. And the thing is, if you are playing the low kick game, what about the next fight? This can easily be that the winner will go into the next fight and be really damaged to the legs. And if you're facing Aventas or Kinserski for that matter, well, with high damage in your legs, that will be really interesting to see how you will solve that. Because, of course, the coach of Aventas or Kinseski will watch you when you are fighting, for sure. So it's hard to pick a winner there. I feel that maybe we can add a little more, leaning a little more, maybe because I have a strong relation to Masur, maybe. But maybe we will follow him, because I think he can also add a little bit more into it, and that will be interesting if he mixes up the drive with the knees as well. It could be interesting. So okay, that's the 4 first fighters that will fight, and the next fight, the third fight, will be Okada from Japan. He was doing a very good World Championship, and he will face Anton Simarov from Kazakhstan. This is a cool fight. Both are very athletic. They are young fighters. They can move really good, and they have every technical aspect they can do. So it will, yeah, very interesting. I think that will be a high pace fight. Again, this time I think the same thing with with Andrei Kinseski as Anton Simaro. Both of them, we haven't seen like the Japanese fighters. We have seen in this tournament. We have seen them fight in the All Japan Open now in May. We have seen the European fighters fight in the European Championship in the May, but we haven't seen the Kazakhstan's fighters on the big stage since the World Championship. That's 3/4 of a year. Sorry. So they can probably have developed even more skills than we saw in the World Championship. That could be that they will pull some rabbit out of the hat. I think so. Well, I think in this fight I'm leaning against Simarev in this one. He's such a good fighter, and he's really calm and good. I think he will tame Okada. I think he will do so, and I think he will move on into the next fight. But you can't count out Okada for that matter. But I think Simaro will have more tools in his bag to bring this down, and it will be interesting to see. And the winner, anyway, the winner will go up against the winner of the last fight, and that's Marek Wolny from Poland, going up against Yusako Watanabe from Japan. It's a height advantage from Wolny. He's higher, much higher, but Watanabe is used to fight being the lower one, being ahead or more than that lower than his opponent. He's good at dodging the knees, because that is obvious what you will think. Okay, the knees will be in this one. He's really good at that. The style of Watanabe is he's really explosive. He's really good at his coming in. His entries are really good, and he will move around and time his entries and do what area you want to do, like punches, very, very explosive punches, and also good low kicks. And he will go out of the situation and do it one more time before you can punish him back. For Marek Wolny, he's a full range fighter. He can fight on distance, he can fight on the middle distance or close, and very often we can see him coming in close, and he's a really warrior. So he's very, very conditioning, very hard to fight in close. I think that, but I've seen Marek Wolny has some really good low kicks as well, but he used him on a middle distance, more like a middle distance. And he don't necessarily every time do the whole turnaround. It's like not a traditional Mabashiri. It's a little bit for the stiff leg and using your hip forward. So he will hit in front on the thigh, not on the side, and that will also stop an entry. I feel that could be something there. And if he takes the legs of Watanabe and be patient, not go for the head, because if you go for the head, I think Watanabe is good enough to dodge them and to move and to punish Wolny for that try. But if you go for the legs, maybe, and mix it up with the knees after a while, it could be also that he will choke down a little bit of the movement of Watanabe. The footwork and the movement of Watanabe is really good. And if you choke that a little bit down, that will be interesting to see what will end up. I hope not. It will not be a fight going close and much pushing, because then we will have the warnings. And as said before, I don't like that the judges are I don't like that the judges are telling who is the best. I want the fighters to find out themselves. So yeah, I hope so. but we will see. But this is quite interesting fight as well. Uh, Volney have to be aware of the pace of Watanabe in the last part of the fight. He is stealing a lot of fights, raising the pace, doing very well, and his finish is very impressive. And you can see he's so explosive as well. But of course, Volney is a warrior, as I said. So if he can tear him down enough, so the last part maybe isn't so strong from Watanabe, it could be another game. So very interesting to see who of them will advance in the tournament, and yeah, will one of them? Okay, one of them will fight the next fight, but against who? We are not sure. Maybe Simarov. Maybe. If so, remember that Simarov have, if I'm not mistaken, Simarov have been fighting Watanabe and Volney in the World Championship last year. Just as you know, I think so. So it will be interesting. Who will win? Yeah, I have on the last four fighters. I have been leaning a little bit against Simarev, also based on previous fights, of course. But anything can happen. But I think Simarev, also the factor that we haven't seen them on the big stage like 3/4 of a year, so they can have some surprises. And they are young, of course, so it's easy to add things when you're young. It's more difficult when you have been fighting for a long time and something is more than bread and butter, like it's harder to change. So I will not be surprised if Simarov is coming all the way through, but it's really tough. I think the second fight for Simarov will be really tough. Watanabe or Volney, it will be really tough. I think so. On the other side, it's very difficult. Due to the fact that Eventas is the world champion, I feel that I have to give him something for that. I think he will be one of the strongest fighter in that side. We have a little dark horse with Daisuke Tawa. We haven't seen him up against others than Japanese fighters, so this will be also very interesting to see what he can do. Yeah, so but anyway, the setup are really cool. It'll be interesting to see how it pull through, and I believe this, as I said, this format, this Super 8, I believe this is a way to keep the tournament factor alive and interesting. I think so, and this should be considered in Europe as well, in the same what can I say, same promotion, same way of building it up. I don't have so much faith in all the different kind of European championship and try to make it one and all that. It's so hard to make it happen because everybody have different agendas and different schedules and everything. So I think like this one, it will be a really cool thing that could easily be comparing with kickboxing galas and MMA galas and everything else. So time flies. That was what I feel and think about. What I'm hoping the most is, of course, I hope for a good tournament. I hope I have wrong in what I'm thinking, because nothing is more cool than having wrong in predicting fights. If you are predicting a fight, I think it's going this direction, and suddenly someone pull up a rabbit out of the hat and change the game, and everything is just wow, it's alive again. We need that surprise moment, the element of surprise in the tournaments. If we know who will win every time, why should we go to tournament? Why should we hold tournaments? So I hope I'm mistaking everything. Okay, stay strong. See you around. I will pop in when I have the time. Holidays coming up. I'll try to train a little bit. I'm thinking of doing a little bit more of videos that we can see other things than only talking. So if I have time for it, we will try that out as well. And just as a sneak preview in the last seconds there, those two guys from Kazakhstan going in these tournaments, they're coming to Sweden in August, Camp Banzai. So I'm working hard to get there. It's not far away from Norway to Sweden. So, and the Camp Banzai is a really good camp. You have to feel it to believe it. See you around. Goodbye.